course, he is Coach Greg Campy. My name is Neil Rule, voice in camp. Look, this show has set records in its time, the highest rated show on this station at this time. Today, we set yet another record, the warmest Greg Campy show on record. Never been 71 degrees for the Campy show before.
Oh, they got the doors open. I'd rather be sitting outside. Yeah. It's like they got a bottle of wine. Yeah.
He's got it figured out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Camp, big time show obviously lined up. Got a couple of special guests. The awards dropped today. But before we get into the news portion of the show, I'm just happy to see you here. Now, your boss at McDonald's was kind enough to let you out of your shift early.
Yeah.
Let you out here.
I told the lady that was training me, I told her, I said, you're nervous. You're going to lose your job. I'm going to take that job from you, right? I need tickets to the Oakland game Thursday night since you can't afford food. He looked at me and goes, I'll take them. And then he said, if it's free, it's me.
On the dinner offer. Yeah. I'll be ordering mine before we leave.
I'm sure you will. I told Russ that I didn't want any steak or lobster or anything on the menu tonight. So
that's not what they told me.
Yeah.
I'll be getting the first ever lobster tail from RJ's Pub, everybody. No, but Camp, obviously an outright Horizon League title, great senior night, great win over Detroit. It was just a great day for Oakland University at the Oakland University Credit Union Arena.
Yeah, it was a really good way to wrap up just an unbelievable season. As I've said a million times, I just love this team, man. They do it right. They're everything we'd want as a fan, as a father, as anything. They're everything I would want them to be, and they've led that way the whole year, and it paid off and rewarded them with a championship and Nets. But there's another championship that's a little more important that we're going after. But to step back from that and look at it, I thought that was, I love our senior night, and I thought it was just unbelievable. Very emotional, but very cool to give those four guys their chance to express themselves in front of, all the people that stayed, too. I'm just so excited about how many people stayed for them.
Yeah, the people definitely mobilized out on the blacktop. That is for sure. In camp, you knew what you were going to get from Detroit, obviously. A big-time effort from them. They came out. They played hard. It was a game that came right down to the very, very end. But as it typically was, your guy and certainly our guy and the Horizon League Player of the Year, Trey Townsend, with some big buckets at the end. It was pretty fitting, wasn't it, for him to kind of close it down like that?
Yeah, but I think all four seniors made a huge play in the last 3 minutes of the game. Blake just buried that shot from actually two. He's 5 for 10 in the game, but the one was just, just with unbelievable confidence. At a critical time. Gohlke with the step-back three. Rocket got to the rim after not having played a lot in the second half, and we needed a basket late. He ripped the ball and got all the way to the rim, and then obviously Trey's three-point play to end it was huge. But all four of the seniors in their last regular season game at home, and that's kind of a picture or a painting of what we were all year. Different people.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm not that talented with those words, but it showed what we were as a group. We didn't have to rely. We relied on the unit, the team. And I've had some, as a kid, as a young coach, I always tried to express there was no I in team, but I had a pretty selfish player once say to me, yeah, but there's an M and an E.
There's a me in there, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've kind of learned, that you win when you have teams like this that, you spread the wealth but it was great to see all four of those seniors step up in the last minutes of that game. And Detroit played a great game. I mean, they really, really played good, and we knew that was going to happen. You and I've talked about it many times. We wanted them to win a game. We didn't want them to come in there, and then it didn't matter. We knew what that game meant to them, that they could ruin our season. And in a rivalry, that's what the rival tries to do. And our kids handled it. We had we were a little shaky early, and we figured it out. And the last 5-6 minutes of that game, we were really, really good at the offensive end.
The Greg Campy Show brought to you by Henry Ford Sports Medicine, the official team physicians for Oakland University and you. For more info, visit henryford.com/athlete. But Camp, also some breaking news from the program. The Horizon League announced the season honors, of course, headlined by a lot of Oakland names, as you would expect. Jack Gohlke was named the sixth man of the year in the Horizon League. Yeah, absolutely. And in camp, just to start with Jack, and here's somebody that came in, made 6 threes at Ohio State. I think there was a lot of adjustment to him and his game as the season, progressed. He came into some challenges, and then he was able to answer those challenges and just be a clutch shooter coming down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, and a lot of that is, our injuries early in the year when Blake, after the Illinois game, Blake went out for 6 or 7 games, and that kind of messed with the alignment, who plays and rotations and that, and then when Blake came back, I was really believing that in DQ and that we had to do some special things with him to get him where we needed to get him. And I went to Jack and told him, I'm going to take you out of the starting lineup and bring you off the bench, and let's go win the Sixth Man of the Year award. And he still played the same amount of minutes in most games. He averaged over 30 minutes a game, which are starter minutes. But you've got to give him a ton of credit too. But it's what this team's about. They understand that the whole, and he took, who doesn't want to start? Everybody wants to be a starter. But he understood that this team, when I took him and Rocket out of the starting lineup, changed things around. We won, I think, 13 of our last 16 or 14 of our last 17 or something like that from the point we did that. And obviously his role didn't change. It was just how the rotations worked. And I was really pleased that he was able to win that award because not only did he deserve it, but he sacrificed for it. So, I'm really, really pleased he got it.
Also, too, remember, you can get involved with the show. Send us a tweet with the hashtag #AskCampy. We'll be taking those. Those are starting to fly in right now. So get your questions out there for Camp, and we will get to those coming up in about 25 minutes or so from now, and we'll get all your thoughts out there and all your questions, and Camp will answer them all. Some more news with the program as well. Blake Lampman named Horizon League second team performer this season as well. Absolutely. Good luck for Blake, everybody. And, we've talked about this all season long, and it's something where Camp, the toughness is unquestioned. Everything he has to go through to get out there on the floor, and he answered the bell pretty much every single time.
Yeah, it was a very deserved award, and what you have to look at, too, this was not a normal year in the Horizon League. I mean, there's 8 unbelievable teams in this league, and there are a lot of like I said in last week's show, there's 6 guys here in this league. And one of those guys made second team, and I'm sure their fan base isn't happy about that. But there's only 5 guys, right? And there's 6 guys that could have been player of the year in the league. And I don't know, if you look at Tanner Holden, and surely he could have been too. I mean, there's just so many really good players, and for Blake to leapfrog all those guys and get into the second team shows you just, what kind of year he had and who he is. And I think what I really like is, these teams are voted on by the 11 coaches. There's no media, there's no outside. It's the 11 coaches, and that shows the respect that the coaches have for Blake Lampman and what he's done in his career. And they watched him grow from a scrawny little kid to this guy that is just an unbelievable basketball player. And they've heard me talk about his leadership and all those kind of things. So. That he was named that by the coaches. And if you're going to get named by anything, I'm not allowed to vote for Blake. Coaches can't vote for their own players. So it's the other 10 coaches that voted for him. So that in itself tells you,
the respect that they have for him.
Exactly.
No, absolutely. And Blake's certainly not scrawny anymore. We talked about that a lot during the broadcast, the commitment he made physically to reshape his body. And Camp, throughout the season too, with all the practices and everything, when we're on the road, I've told this story before, go into the hotel gym to work out, like the hotel weight room and stuff like that. There he is all the time, man.
Well, it goes back to that Oakland saying that everybody wants to be great until they find out what they have to do to become great. Well, Blake found out, and he wasn't a fraud. He wanted to become great, and he did what he had to do, and look what he became.
No, absolutely. And of course, the Horizon League Player of the Year, really well-deserved too as well for Trey Townsend, as he was named Horizon League Player of the Year. And Camp, absolutely, give it up for Trey. And Camp, you talked about it. There's a lot of good players in this league, and there's a lot of guys you have to game plan for. And Trey Townsend stands at the top of that list.
Yeah, and he would have been here tonight, but he's got class, so he couldn't come. But here's a story is for the rest of my coaching career I'm going to talk to our team about is Trey Townsend was named the player of the year in the league, and his stats, his scoring average weren't anywhere near what the other four guys on the first team and the guy on the second team wasn't even near. The other four guys were the four leading scorers in the league, other than the kid from Detroit, or they were the leading assists or leading rebound. They had what Trey Townsend did and what the other 10 coaches recognized is he led his team to win. And by winning the championship, he was rewarded as player of the year. Is he good enough to be player of the year? Yes. But so were a bunch of other guys. And winning is what ultimately stands you apart in everything in life. And this is the perfect example about it. It made him stand apart from everybody else in the league. And that's why he got the award. And, I'm really proud of that, and I'm proud of him. And it's still, it's an unbelievable story to go from a 4-year-old kid that was running around the gym to, dreaming to play at Oakland and actually playing there. And then, I heard a lot of people, former players that played with his dad or in that era, that when we signed him, we're like, you're taking Townsend's kid, and, and some of them are in the area. I'd watched him in high school and they thought he was a good player, but can he play it at all, And he went from starting every game since he got here to player of the year. So it's a hell of a story, and I'm really happy to have been a small part of it.
Now, Camp, and you look at it too, right? Because you talked about the coaches and they recognizing the kind of player that Trey is. He was in the top 10 in the league in assists, right? And assist to turnover ratio too. And I think people gloss over that a lot with Trey's game. He will make the basketball play no matter what time of the game it is, what the possession is, all that kind of stuff. He will just make the proper basketball play.
Well, he understands, he's learned how to play through double teams and that. And the coaches that voted for him know that he can get those assists because they're the ones that have to game plan and decide whether to double him or not. And when they doubled him, like Detroit doubled him the other night and crucial time of the game, and Chris Conway dunked because Trey found him out of the double for a dunk. And so if you make that and Trey makes a pass like that, that's what makes him so valuable. And again, that's why they voted for him.
No, absolutely. But Camp, from an honors standpoint, certainly a very good cap to the season. We'll get into the Horizon League tournament coming up towards the end of the show. But, just as you take a step back, have you done that at all? I know you're on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. Did you take any time to sit back and reflect on this season at all, or now you do that when it's over?
No, I smoked a cigar, quietly. But that was it. I've asked them, they've got the rest of their lives we wanted to enjoy senior night and enjoy that evening, and they did. We got back to work today, and I've asked them and begged them to handle the tournament just like we've handled the season, one day at a time, one team at a time, and prep the same way. Consistency is the hallmark of greatness, and you have to remain consistent, and if you don't, something bad's going to happen. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to go about Thursday's game as consistently as we went about every other game. That's the lesson I'm trying to teach them. And to be honest with you, with the amount of games played by these guys and the intelligence that these players have, they're going to teach that. I don't really have to even say it because they know.
No question. And speaking of that, of course, Thursday night, we do know there will be a game. We do not know the opponent as of yet, but at 7 o'clock, we're going to jump it up at the Oakland University Credit Union Arena. Get to goldengrizzlies.com and get tickets if you don't have them already. Camp, want to see everybody out there.
Got a lot of people from McDonald's coming today.
One guy in particular,
but there was one person that ordered a 10-piece, and I told her there are only 8 in there because I had a couple of them, but she took the tickets anyways. So...
All right, well, that works. All right, Camp, we'll take our first break. When we come back, we're going to be joined a first time here. We're gonna do 2 guests at the same time. Lampman and Jack Gohlke will come up here and join us. Coming up next, we'll be back with more of the Greg Campy Show. We're live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. Grizzlies, and right now, as promised, we're joined by two of the best shooters in the Horizon League, a couple of honorees as well, a couple of best shooters in the country as well. Thank you, Jack Gohlke. Yes, it is Jack Gohlke and Blake Lampman, and fellas, appreciate having you out here today. And how's it going?
It's great. Thanks for having us out here. Always fun to come out here and see the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. How you doing, Blake?
Doing great. This is huge. This is way bigger than the last time I was here. So you're bumping it up. You know, this is good stuff.
No problem, man. Blake, we'll start with you. Named Horizon League second team performer this year. Because I know the work, because I see the work. You know, not a lot of people see the work that goes in behind the scenes. But I know it's got to be special for you, man.
Yeah, it's cool. I think we got snubbed, though, because I think my coach deserved Coach of the Year, and he didn't get it. But other than that, I mean, we got the – he's chirping. I can't hear him. We got the Player of the Year, and then my award, and then Jack Sixth Man of the Year, all deserving. But, yeah, I'm not going to lie. This wasn't really the goal, especially after the second game. I didn't know if I was going to be able to play. And when I decided to play, it wasn't to make a team. It was to win. And we've got the first goal down, but we still got one to go.
What, Blake, real quick, too, how close were you to not play? Because I know the discussions that went on internally. Like, when we say it was a question mark, how close were you to not playing this year?
I was very close, very close. I got a shot in my hip before we played the Toledo game, and I was going to give it Toledo Eastern, Michigan State, and then try to play in the league games, and then I was going to make the decision. And I think playing good against Youngstown forced that decision of, okay, let's keep going. No, but yeah, it was a close decision, and a lot of prayer went into it, a lot of talks with my family, and that I kept going. So it'll be a cool story once we cut the nets down in Indy.
All right, there you go. Well, Jack, you know, as far as you go, Sixth Man of the Year in the Horizon League, what does that mean to you?
It's definitely a cool award to get. Definitely, kind of like Blake said, that wasn't really the goal at the beginning of the year. For me, something sticks out that Coach Campy said at the beginning of the year. He was talking about how these regular season awards, they're really cool to get, but they don't really mean anything. And he was talking about, let's go get some all-tournament team awards down in Indy. So I think we're all obviously happy with what happened, but we're really going for those tournament awards in Indy.
Yes, certainly, no question about that one. But you know, it's Jack, for you this season, because I told the story out there. You know, you came out, you're playing at Ohio State, your Division II transfer, and you and I talked about this a couple of times. You know, as far as during the season goes, and I asked you the question, like, so you transfer here to Oakland, you walk out there, you're at Ohio State, and boom, you hit them with 6 threes, like right out of the gate. Was there at the beginning of that season? Did you say, well, this isn't that hard, I guess?
I don't think so, because anyone who watched that Illinois game knows it was pretty hard. It was rough sledding out there for me that game, but I always dreamed of playing on a stage like that, and it took me a bit of a roundabout route to get there, but I'm glad I've been able to have this one season, and I'm hoping that we can get to the biggest stage and enjoy that.
Talking with Jack Gohlke and Blake Lampman here on the Greg Campy Show. We're live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. And don't forget, too, the Greg Campy Show brought to you by the Pinot Insurance Agency, LLC of Mebic Insurance. They cater to the educational market. If you're looking for affordable insurance and a knowledgeable insurance agency, go online to pinoinsurance.com today. That's P-I-N-O insurance.com today. So Blake, I'll pose a question to you kind of that I just hit Coach Campy with. After the events of Saturday night, certainly was a great scene. And by the way, props to you, man. You gave a great speech, a great speech. And I know it was from the heart, so it was.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Did you take a second at all? Did you kind of reflect on the journey that was this year? Because I know that some people keep receipts. There weren't a lot of believers in you guys at the beginning of the year.
No doubt. And I definitely took a moment. That video that the media team put together was special. And, you know, I was fine until I saw that video, and I'm seeing freshman Blake shooting threes. I didn't even recognize the dude. And then right when I get done, I walk over, and Trey T's just a mess over there. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So obviously when the whole time Trey was gone, I had the towel over my head. I couldn't keep it together either. And it was a special night. It was a special night, not even really clinching the title, but just like everything around it, playing our rival. And, Coach Campy's been so good at like not focusing on the next game. Normally it's, we got Detroit in X amount of days. And this year it wasn't. And so you get to the Detroit game and you're like, well, we haven't really been hyping it up. And it was just as hype as it normally is, when you play a rival like that. And, to bounce back like that after we played Wright State and got our butts handed to us a little bit. But I think that was like one of probably the best things that could have happened to our team, right? Get the loss out early, and then even playing a competitive game against a good Detroit team like that. They play for being 1-30, they play so hard.
You've never known it, yeah.
Yeah, and I talked to Coach Davis after the game, and they got so much stuff going on over there. But for them to come out and give us the game they did, I think it was just perfect for our team. And especially we're going to have a bye on Tuesday, going into Thursday, having playing that game was huge for us.
Was it good that Trey went last, just to give everybody a shot at trying to keep it together? Because that's the way that stuff works, man. When it's an emotional scene, everybody can keep it together, but the second one guy cracks, you know how that works, right? Was it good that he went last?
100%. And Jack and Rocket got me too. I didn't know about Rocket's brother, really. I didn't even think about that. And Jack was bringing up some memories from the season, and it's just, I'm definitely happy I went before Trey D, no doubt.
Well, Jack, just kind of a follow-up to that. You're as even keel as it gets, and even you, I saw even you out there. Was how much of a struggle was it at times?
It definitely was. Like Blake said, seeing Trey up there and just, I've only been here 1 year, but all the battles we've been through together and spent so much time with these guys. So I definitely feel that investment and just seeing the way that they care about everything going on and their reactions. I was definitely struggling a little bit. I was thankful I went first.
Talking with Jack Gohlke and Blake Lampman here on the Greg Campy Show. So Blake, I have to ask you this question, and you're going first. So Jack, you listen, you'll have an answer for the question already. What are a couple of your favorite moments from the season this year? I know winning it obviously was certainly up there, and beating Detroit and all that kind of stuff. What are some of the moments that maybe the fans here don't know about?
Definitely just bonding with the guys. I talked to Travis Bader after my first year here, and I was just like, it didn't really feel like a brotherhood. And he told me like things that they would do. They'd have mandatory Applebee's nights and mandatory game nights with the group. And we are so collective as a group, and we do so much stuff off the court. And a big shout out to Kevin Beers. Every single road loss we had, the next day we had a mandatory thing that we had to do as a team, whether it was we went and talked to a school together. We had a guest speaker come up. We went bowling. I don't think that was Kevin Beers' idea, but we went bowling after Cleveland State, and we won every single game after that. I think it was Youngstown, Milwaukee, and help me out here, brother. Wright State?
Yeah,
Wright State. So just a lot of the times you let one become two, and that team didn't allow us to do that because we would come together. We would, do something bigger than basketball off the court. And I think that was probably the biggest thing for me, and what helped us with our success was that we did so much stuff together off the court this year.
So Jack, you're lucky, obviously, because now you got this time to sit here and think about it. What were some of your favorite moments?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Blake. I think the biggest thing for a team's success is, you can bring together a bunch of great players, but if they don't mesh, if they don't believe in each other, it's not going to work out. So I think that's something that's really helped us. And we always like Italy was amazing. The Cayman Islands was a lot of fun. It was a fast-paced thing, 3 games in 3 days, but I think being in those different environments just really lets you get to know the guys more and things like that. And just so many great memories from. I really just enjoy kind of the atmosphere of our huddles during the games, and obviously no one really gets to see that. But it's funny when things are kind of back and forth, whether we're out of drought or things are going really well. You'd be surprised the amount of gibberish that Blake spews during those huddles. Things would be going wrong, and everyone would be getting yelled at, and Blake's just trying to make noise just to kind of take the edge off. So that's one of my favorite memories. I'd say.
No, and Blake, just taking that a step further too, there were many moments, and I haven't seen this before. And by the way, too, the people over there were laughing. So we're here at the Greg Campy Show that all these people come out to with Greg Campy on the news right now at McDonald's giving out food in the drive-thru right now. Has Camp jumped the shark a little bit, man? Like, is it too much Greg Campy in this room?
No, what coach is doing this, man? Like, this guy loves Oakland University, loves this program, he loves winning, and I'm assuming He's trying to get more people to the games, and he's like, I'm about to go to where am I going to go? I'm going to go to the local McDonald's
And work the
I'm
drive.
going to serve food and get who does that? That's why he's the coach of the year. All props, don't get me wrong, Green Bay coach did a hell of a job getting his program right. But this is the coach of the year right here, man.
But no, the question I did want to ask though, Blake, was, and I haven't seen this before in a decade of being around this program. And look, we've had players that have come through here that are great coaches, and Drew Valentine and guys like that. But I've never seen somebody during their playing time do what you do. You were like a pseudo coach on the floor. You were.
That's being nice, Neil. But I've said this before.
You called a play, right? Like I heard the story. Like did you call a play during one of the games?
Yeah, I'm gonna call the play once or twice.
Then you're a coach.
I said it in the post game that time. I said it's not the first one I've called, but it's the first one that's worked.
You're a coach already, man. There you go.
It's
Blake
insane.
Lampman show next season.
No. It's insane though. Like my coach has 40 years of experience, and he's listening to me. Hey, I want to run this play. Like any other coach, I'm thinking, why? No, I do this. I'm the coach here, dude. But he listens. He gives me a leash, and obviously it was earned through 5 years of going back and forth with him. But the trust that he has in me gives me confidence to go to him and say, hey, Trey T needs to touch the ball right now, And I did that a little bit in the game. I felt like we needed to just pound it inside. They couldn't stop Trey, and we got that and one at the end of the game. That wasn't my call, but it was a hell of a call by Coach Camp and won us the game. So, yeah, I got a passion for coaching, 100%. I want to get into it, and I will as soon as this body officially breaks down on me. But hopefully, those days I can push them back a little bit.
No, absolutely. And Jack, what do you think, man? As a player, would you play for Coach Blake Lampman?
I would definitely play for Coach Blake Lampman, but I don't know if I could play for someone younger than me, so maybe not.
No, maybe not. All right. Well, gentlemen, congrats on a great season. Congrats on a regular season championship. And I know what you're going to say, like the work's not done yet, but Oakland University is better because you guys were here, and that's the bottom line, man. And you guys know the respect that I have for you, and these fans all have for you as well. Congratulations, guys. We appreciate your time. Thanks.
Much appreciated.
All right. Blake Lampman, Jack Gohlke, everybody. We'll be back with the Ask Campy portion of the Greg Campy Show. If you have not yet, get those questions in on Twitter with the hashtag Ask Campy. We'll get to them all when we come back. This is the Greg Campy Show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. Club and the Greg Campy Show. My name is New World Voice of the Grizzlies. Of course, he's your coach, Greg Campy. Happy to have you all with us. A huge crowd on hand, the biggest crowd of the season. Didn't think they could get any bigger, Camp, but they did.
Well, they come for free food, just like they got at McDonald's.
Absolutely. Speaking, I got to put that order in before that gets shut down. So I'll certainly handle that.
2-minute warning.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to commercial. We'll be right back. All right, Camp, it's time for the Ask Campy portion of the show. You ready to rock?
Sure.
All right, absolutely. Let's do it. Pittsburgh Marty, you can't mess with tradition, right? You got to keep it going. Pittsburgh Marty, sorry I didn't get my question in last week. That's the first one I missed in several years. Looking towards Thursday night's game with the opponent to be determined, walk us through the practice and game prep from immediately following last Saturday's game to 7 o'clock on Thursday night.
Well, again, because the post game on Saturday, because of the senior day, we didn't have our, we don't go in the locker room afterwards and we don't have the post game talk and then talk about the week. So I told them in advance of the game what was going to happen, and basically they had Sunday off. We got back to work this morning. We practiced for 25 minutes, all shooting, and as a staff, we're prepping for Fort Wayne, and we've got the person that had Robert Morris's scout is prepping for Robert Morris. We're prepping for Detroit, and we're prepping for IUPUI. It could be any of those four, so we're prepping for all four of them. I would say we've got a little more emphasis right now on Fort Wayne, and we'll do a couple things in practice tomorrow with, like Fort Wayne. But then we'll have the 24-hour prep once we find out for sure who we're playing Tuesday night. And tomorrow's practice will be no film, but it'll be about a 40-minute after the warm-ups and all that kind of stuff. Will be about 40 minutes on the floor. And then on Wednesday, there'll be a film session on who we're playing, and about a 30-minute, guard them and do all the things that they do and make sure we're ready for all the little special plays.
All right, Cam. Ed, we have a bit of a special break right here. President Peskovitz is coming up.
It's not my birthday.
All right.
Wow.
So President Peskovitz is actually bringing up a cake right here.
Oh my God.
And there it is.
You didn't make Coach of the Year. Like you made it for us.
Okay.
Absolutely. Says, congratulations, Coach Campy, Horizon League champion. So there that is. And President Peskovitz, thank you. President Peskovitz, longtime veteran of the Greg Campy Show, by the way. Out here most weeks.
Cut her nets down for the first time in her life. She enjoyed it too.
She'll really enjoy the next one then, right?
Somebody told me that she actually said on a radio show today that it was one of the highlights of her career.
That's true.
Now think of all the things she's done in life,
Yeah.
especially in the medical field, and cutting down the nets. That tells you the leadership that we have at Oakland and why things are great here.
All right, give it up for President Peskovitz, everyone. Absolutely. And again, she's a veteran of the show. She comes out most weeks.
Yeah. So now that everybody's getting a free meal, they're also getting a piece of cake for dessert.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. But no, it is the Ask Campy
That's
portion
awesome.
of
Thank
the
you.
show. Yes, that was very, very cool. Get your tweets in. Speak now or forever hold your peace, at least until the next Greg Campy Show. Angie SW has become a pretty big contributor, certainly during the radio broadcast and everything. Hashtag Ask Campy. Camp, would you ever consider being mic'd up during a game?
Oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
And years ago, we had when the Valley Sports was Fox Detroit. We did Inside Oakland Basketball. We did 4 shows a year, and I still think, I wish that hadn't gone away because I think it was unbelievable. We signed Kay Felder, one of the all-time greats at Oakland University. The morning he came in on his visit, his mother, sitting there talking to her, said, "I just watched the Inside Oakland, and I know I want him to come here." That's how powerful the show was, and I mic'd up in games. Now, I will say this. I had right of first refusal on anything that they put out there.
Editorial control?
I had editorial control, and I needed it. It was funny, though, because I spoke at an event, and somebody with a lot of money somehow got some of those outtakes. And before I spoke, he was playing some of those outtakes, and I'm glad I had editorial control.
Absolutely. Ask Campy and the Greg Campy Show by farmer-owned farmer-owned dairy products from Prairie Farms are made with 100% real milk from local Michigan dairy farms. Prairie Farms, a proud sponsor of Oakland University Athletics. Happy cows, real milk. We put that one back in there, Camp, because the people wanted it. More questions with the hashtag #AskCampy.
What makes a cow happy?
I would imagine. What do they eat? Do they they eat grass, right? So I'd imagine good grass probably makes them pretty happy.
Makes other people happy too.
Yeah, it does. Certainly does.
Not that I know anything about that.
No, but I mean, probably just some good grass, Camp. That's all they need. And some water on a hot day.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's all that would make them very happy. Austin Davis, who's here in the house tonight. Camp, how are we feeling about the hottest Campy show on record? Please don't fact check me if I'm wrong. No, you're 100%. It's never been this warm before. How you feeling? How you holding up?
Feel good. It sat out there while the kids were talking. It was great. Looked out over Rochester.
Grizzly fan wants to know, #AskCampy. What's the trick with the health journey, Camp? How can us fans get the same result before these summer days?
You have your doctor tell you that if you don't do this, you're not going to live much longer. So that usually is a very motivating factor.
It does help with the motivation.
Yes.
There is no question about that. Matt from the Horizon says, ask Campy, with the season winding down, starting to look ahead just a little bit to the future, but more about facilities than personnel. Can we expect any renovations in the arena, maybe repainting of the floor, etc.?
Well, the time is coming for the repainting of the floor. We were going to do it this coming year, but with the practice facility and all our emphasis on getting that done and getting it ready, what we're really hoping for is that by Christmas, we're in the actual playing part of the practice facility. And then by the summer, we're in the locker rooms and the offices and everything moves there. So our emphasis really is on that and not the arena right now. It's still post-COVID and money's still an issue. And we're lucky that, as our president's here tonight, that she really pushed and helped us get this practice facility through. It's a major step. Probably in my 40 years, it's the most important step that we've taken. In my 25 years as a D1 coach, the most important step we've taken towards improvement. And so we're going to put everything into that. And then I think once that's done, then we'll look at the redoing of the floor and maybe getting that a little blacker, because we still want to keep that theme. But obviously the new lights, when we got them a few years ago, and that kind of, it's a little too shiny in there. We understand all the issues. There's just more important things to take care of right now than those things.
Mr. Drew Huff on Twitter, ask Campy, Coach, you talked a lot about Blake's leadership in the program. Is there anyone on the team now that you could see one day filling that role?
Well, again, this is a very old team. We're going to, Trey, Jack, and Blake are 3 leading scorers. And those are the leaders right now. Do I think some of the younger guys can do it? Yeah, I think DQ's got a chance to be a good leader. I think DQ has been led. And what I mean by that is that he has embraced being led. And I think that, he's like a young child sucking it in and figuring it out. And it's probably going to go a lot on his shoulders next year. Of course, a lot's going to depend on who we bring in and who's here and who isn't. But I'm honest with you, I have not even, we talk about recruiting and my staff's really working on that, but my whole focus is this group. This group is so special. I owe them everything I have. And I'm not thinking about the future. I'm thinking about this group and getting through this year. But to answer your question, I would say that it probably, I don't see Chris Conway being that guy. Chris is very mild, great young man, great student, all that. I don't think he's more like Trey in that, he's a little more introverted. That's why they're such good friends, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't see it coming from him, but I could be wrong. We'll see.
Jimmy Kennedy wants to know, when the offseason rolls around, Camp, how much golf are you looking to play this spring into summer?
I'm only going to play on the days that end in Y.
That's it? And only in the morning or the afternoon? That's it?
Yeah, probably both.
Yeah, probably both. So there you have that one as well. Camp, you brought it out. Of course, you tweeted that picture of Trey and Chris back when they showed up to campus when they looked like kids. I guess that's what they were. that whole dynamic, like their relationship, because you did touch on that. Very good complementary pieces as far as being roommates and stuff like that. Did you kind of see that as they got together?
No, I mean, I try very hard, and I think they would tell you they probably appreciate it. I try to stay out of their way. You know, I can be a hard guy to be around at times when, you're pushing them to be for greatness, right? And so I try and stay out of their way. I hear the stories, and then, as they get older, I inject myself more into their lives as they get older, because they're nearing the time that, it's time to go out to the world. And that's where I really try and inject myself into their lives. Early on when they're around, I kind of want to just stay away. I want to be the dad that disciplines early, and then I want to be grandpa at the end. I don't know about you guys, but when you get grandchildren, and their mother says that they can't have ice cream, they can't have that, and then she leaves, the first thing I do is take them for ice cream. Right? So
it's fun being the good guy.
Yeah. So so as they get older, I kind of like being more of the grandfather type thing, where it's I'm not the guy disciplining, I'm not the guy screaming. I get mad at them now and then, but not like in their first years.
All right, Cam, we'll take our final break of the show. When we come back, I do want to talk about the Horizon League tournament. I got a couple questions for you, the structure of it, things like that, how that kind of comes to be, what you're looking for, and all those kinds of things as well. We'll take our final break, come back, we'll wrap it up. It is the Greg Campy Show. We're live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. Show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. He's Coach Greg Campy. My name is Neil Rule, the voice of the Golden Grizzlies. Don't forget, opening round of the quarterfinal round of the Horizon League tournament coming up on Thursday night live at the Oakland University Credit Union Arena. We will tip it at 7 o'clock. Go to goldengrizzlies.com, get those tickets. Come on out. Let's pack that place. It's March Madness, everybody. The whole thing comes down to this. So let's all get out there and act accordingly and make it just exactly like what it was on Saturday. Just tough for the opposition. But Cam, speaking of the Horizon League tournament, I had a couple questions for you, because we've dealt with, since we've been in the Horizon League, a couple of different variations of the Horizon League tournament. What goes into that when you change it? Because before, I believe the last time we won the league, the top two seeds got buys directly to the semifinals. That was changed up. And I guess just out of curiosity, how does that process work? How do you change the tournament?
Well, it's all done through the council, the league office, and the first time it got changed, I had a hand in it. Giz had a big hand in it too, in that he was working at the Little Caesars Arena, and I said, let's bring the Horizon League tournament there, and that from that day on, they worked to get it there, and they did, and it went from, at that point, we were the team, like if in the old days, we would be hosting the whole tournament right now. Everybody would be coming to Oakland, and they would play through Friday, Monday, Tuesday. And what happened when we were doing that is it was in Green Bay, and Green Bay got beat. And they had to pick everything up and go to Wright State in
24 hours.
Yeah. And it was expensive, and it didn't, they didn't sell tickets the way they wanted to sell them, because if they had the championship game at Green Bay, nobody would have shown up. It was against Wright State and Milwaukee maybe or somebody. And so that kind of changed the format to where it is today. They bid out, I'm pushing to get the first two teams to go all the way to Indy. But right now, this is it's been voted on, and this is the way it's going to stay, I think, through 25.
Okay.
26. The next 2 years, it's going to be this way, and then they're going to relook at it again. What the league wants, it's all money driven, right? It's everything. College athletics today is really kind of pushed towards money, because everybody needs it, right? And so the league wants its best team to have the best chance to get a good seed in the NCAA tournament. So they're trying to, the teams that finish first, second, third, and fourth, those should normally be your best teams. And they're trying to preserve the good seed, because we want to win games in the NCAA tournament, because every win in the NCAA tournament is a lot of money for the teams in our, and it's a 6-year rolling thing. And Butler was in the league and went to the national championship game 2 years in a row, and the league was rolling in money for 6-7 years.
That's about 1.2 million, right? After you add up all those units rolling over, it was a lot.
That's a lot of money. And now that all that money's gone, and right now we have units from when Wright State won that playing game there, that counts as a team. So that's our only unit rolling over, other than the one you get for participation. So we want to win games, and it's imperative that a team from our league gets in there and wins some games. So we're going to try and solve that for them this year. That's our goal.
No, absolutely. I was curious about that, because how do they come to the conclusion of, say, okay, here's how we're going to do it. We'll play this first round on a Tuesday, and then we'll pare that down to 8 and go from there. Like what goes into the competition end of it?
Yeah, there's a lot of arguing back and forth. There are people that believe only 8 teams should go. The coaches don't want that, because if I'm 9, 10, and 11, I'll get fired if I don't get in there. There's a lot of back and forth, and then basically it comes down to the league office, and then the athletic directors come up with their recommendations, and they take it to the president's council and tell them why they want this, and then most likely the president's council will agree to it, and then that's what we do. Not a lot of input from the coaches, but some. I'm actually chair of the coaches committee, and this is my first year doing it, and I've been very pleased with my interactions with Julie and the league. I've taken something to them that the coaches wanted taken to them on non-league scheduling, and they've been tremendous with it, and we'll see how that goes down. But I'm very pleased with the way I've been treated, and how my interactions with the league office have been great.
All right, Camp, as you look at the bracket, it's all set up, obviously. What's kind of some of your initial reactions? And I guess my follow-up question to that is, tomorrow, how do you consume the games tomorrow night? What do you do?
Well, tomorrow night, I'm going to consume our women's basketball game at Oakland University, and I'm not going to worry about that, because ESPN Plus, I can go watch
on demand.
Right, so I can go watch the games. And, I'll be looking at my phone, obviously, and when we're beating
Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, when we're beating Northern Kentucky by 70 at some point tomorrow, I'll probably be watching a game on the phone. But my first thing is to go to support our women tomorrow night, and then once we know who we're playing, then we won't sleep a lot over the next week. We'll spend a lot of time, and my whole staff. It's not just me, my whole staff. It's our job. This is the most important 6 days, 7 days that we'll have, and we told our players to, we've tried to get everything ready for these days, and we as a staff have to emulate that.
No, absolutely. I did want to bring that up as well. The women will be in action tomorrow. Yeah. Yes. I know you're proud of yourself right now, Camp. Yeah.
I don't know where that word came from, but it came out.
There you go. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, by the way, at the Oakland University Credit Union Arena, the Golden Grizzlies in Northern Kentucky. On the women's side, same deal. Win, win, win. And that's the name of the game here in March. And Camp, I did want to ask you something about that too, because for a long time, I know that you've fought with that, you've wrestled with that, just because at the mid-major level, we play a whole season and it comes down to 3 games. Like that's what it is. And there'll be one winner of the tournament. And I know that you've kind of battled with that for a very, very long time. Now you've been a little more accepting, I guess, of that. Like,
No, I haven't battled with that. I've battled with
the perception of
the
it.
fan base perception. And I've been shot down with that. And the last time we won the Horizon League, we won 25 or 6 games. We won an NIT game, and people think it was a bad year. That's what I battle with. No matter what happens Thursday, Monday, or Tuesday, this has been an unbelievable year. It's been one of the most fun years I've ever been associated with Oakland basketball. Any fan that's a true fan that can't say that, then, I feel bad for them because, as I said last week, nobody wants to win it more than the 15 guys that play for my team. They're the ones that are living it and it's the biggest part of it. But in life, you have disappointments, and the whole season has been picking ourselves up from disappointments, right? And that's how you win championship. You lose, and as Blake said here, we go out and we go bowling after one of the worst losses at Cleveland State. We come back and we beat Youngstown, and no one thought that was going to happen. And that's what life's about, picking yourself up. And you know what? If we don't do it, that's not going to change what this team did this year. Now, we're going to do it. I'm telling you, we're going to do it. I'm not guaranteeing it because coaches aren't supposed to do stuff like that, but we're going to do it. I just believe so much in this group. I really do. I think we're built for it, and I think mentally they're ready for it. And that's bigger than talent.
And Camp, backing that up, that was the takeaway for me from this season, like with this team. As we work through the regular season, no matter what happened, battles with Ohio State and Illinois where you have the lead inside 5 minutes to go in a couple of Big Ten gyms, that manifested itself in the Xavier game where you had been through the battles before and you were able to close that game out and get that win. Whenever there's been a challenge, they've answered it every single time this season.
That's why they're getting rings. You're right. And that's why I've got this cake in front of me. And my name's on it, but it really should have 15 kids' names on it because they're the ones that did it.
Camp, I have to give you a lot of credit too, because there was a time before where that thing would have maybe 4 fingers.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this thing right here in front of me while you were talking with, I would have,
4 times, minimum
at
4
least,
times.
yeah.
A whole.
One for each finger.
Yeah.
5. 10. I would have got the left on this side, right on this side. But I haven't touched it.
I know. It's pretty impressive. It is.
I took a picture of it, though. I'm going to send it to my sister. She loves cake.
Who doesn't love cake?
Me. I'm not a cake eater.
Really?
We have arguments. Yeah, we have arguments and fights over all the time. On birthday, I want a chocolate eclair. One of those things with that cream inside and that chocolate on the outside. Yeah. And she wants cake, and we've argued our whole lives over cake.
Really?
Yeah. So I took a picture. I'm sending it to her. I ask her if she's jealous that I got a cake with my name on it.
Yeah. Cake with your name on it. All right, Camp. We got 3 minutes left in the show. Hit me with it, man. What's going through your mind right now?
We've got to come out, and I told them today, and I honestly mean this. I think the Detroit game was just a perfect game for us. Just a perfect game. Had to overcome adversity in a game you think you're going to win, and the team played great, and we found a way to win it down the stretch. I just think if we'd have won that game by 35, I think we would run into a lot of trouble on Thursday. And I think we're more than ready. We've been through it. We understand it. I've got guys that have played in the championship game and lost, and Blake and Trey and Chris. We're here when we got beat by Cleveland State in the championship game. I got guys that got beat on the road in the first games. And we said all year long, the most important thing is get a home game. That's more important than anything. Get a home game. And they accomplished that. So now it's here and it's time to go play and just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy this and go out and the process of the whole thing. Don't let the pressure get to you. There's going to be pressure and there's going to be, things that go bad. And when they go bad, just remember how good you are and make the next play.
No, and that's something too. I think that we forget sometimes as well. You show me a champion, show me a national champion. I'll show you a time along the road where they were in trouble. That UNLV team that beat Duke by 30. They almost lost to Ball State in the second round.
Right.
Nobody talks about every team is in trouble at some point.
Because at the end of it, a player made a play, and they were able to overcome something bad happening. Because my guess is Thursday night, whoever we're playing is going to bank one in or come out and make some shots because they're not. We're number one. They're not supposed to win. They're not going to be. They're going to come and everything will go in the basket. And we'll handle it and move on to the next play and make the next play, and everything will be fine.
Well said. Well, because that's the formula. That's the way that it works. But it's shot. There are 8 teams that can win this thing, and you would not be surprised at all, right?
No, and I don't think anybody would. I think there are people that think Fort Wayne's going to win it. I'm not talking Fort Wayne fans. I think people out there. I saw today ESPN put out their predictions of it, and they have 4 people that predicted. We weren't not one of them predicted us, which is just fine.
That's the way it was back in November too.
All I'm worried about is winning Thursday night, and I'm not worried about Tuesday. Got to get to Tuesday before you worry about it.
Absolutely. As far as the Greg Campy show goes, when we win in Indianapolis, when we win, we will be back here on March 18th on Monday night. When we win, we'll talk about going to the NCAA tournament, and that's how it's going to go down.
The only reason we wouldn't be here is if they put us on a Tuesday night, but I really don't see that happening. I think we're going to be, if we get in, we'll be a 14, hopefully a 13, but we could even be a 15, but somewhere between 13 and 15. So I don't think so. I think we'd be able to have the show.
All right, so there it is, everybody. We'll see y'all Thursday night at the Oakland University Credit Union Arena. Time for March Madness for the Coach Greg Campy. My name is Neil Rule. Thanks for listening to the Greg Campy Show. Thanks to Greg Hudson as well. We'll talk to you soon. Well, see you later.